And now we're going to move on to Warlock cards. Hooray!
I'm excited about Warlock.
Also, you get to choose which one out of a set of 4.
Yeah.
It's not random and it's not Discover.
It's not random. It's not Discover. You get to choose which one of these you want to do.
Choose one.
Yeah. Out of those 4, it's really good. Get that card.
Yeah.
it's Dr. Boom.
It's definitely the best card in the set, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, hands down.
No,
Okay.
dude, that goes to the Murloc quest.
I'll show you. I'll play all the Murlocs. All right. We're gonna move on to Warlock cards now. We're gonna start with the quest because this is a 5 out of 5 for me, and it is discard 6 cards, and your reward is the Nether portal. And it is 5 mana. Open a permanent portal that summons 3/2 imps for the rest of the game. So that's great. Yep.
It's a solid. Like, here's my thoughts on this though. Like it's the portal is like very value. It's very value, but like if you're playing Zoo, like you're playing discard Zoo with this quest, right?
Yep. I don't think you play
Like,
any other version of Zoo.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that. Well, I'll get to this point later.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think that this might be too slow, because like if you're just spending 5 mana to spend, like yeah, it's really good value. Like as the game goes on, but on the turn that you play, it gets to 3/2.
Also, it limits the amount of board space you can have. Like you just want to fill your board with 7 minions. You don't want to have like 1 space taken up, and then you have to keep spaces open to get value out of the portal.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're getting like free 3/2s, I don't think you're sad if your board's full. That means that you don't have to expend more resources and you're still winning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the other big problem about discard lock is that you're running out of cards in your hand, and if you have the 5 mana portal,
that's why you have tap.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why.
And the tap. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but you also don't have to spend mana. You don't have to spend life in order to get cards back in your hand, and that's in order to play bodies, right? This plays a flame imp without you needing to go tap, draw a flame imp, play a flame imp.
Yeah. That's what I like about it, but it might be too slow. It might be better in like a mid-range.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
I think it's a 2. Like it's too slow to play.
See, here's the thing though, like right now we're discussing playing it in like a traditional Zoolock deck. I'm thinking that if you run like a slower, more higher curve Warlock deck, this would work a lot better. Like a mid-range Zoo rather than like an aggressive Zoo.
I think it is very incredibly easy to discard 6 cards, which is why
definitely.
That's why.
It's probably this is actually like I lied with the last quest. This is the easiest quest to get off.
Yeah.
6 cards, dude. I'll just discard my. I can discard for days. That's easy.
Let's take a look at the other Warlock cards because it seems like it's a 3 from Guiyze, it's a 5 from me, and a 2 from Moosey.
I think it's a 4 from me.
Okay, a 4?
Solid.
Okay.
I think it's solid. Depending on how you build your deck, it's pretty solid.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the first Warlock card here. Some of these cards are great.
This card's nuts.
Okay, so this is a 4 mana 3/8 with Taunt. This is discard the battle card, discard 2 random cards. It's a demon. It's called Lakari Fellhound. This card is a 5 out of 5 for me because this is an immediate staple in any disco lock deck. Like immediately, like you playing this card. Like
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think it's good.
No, seriously, this card?
Yeah, it's not that great.
What?
Like, I mean, you're discarding 2 cards, so like most of the time it's not good of you to just discard 2 cards. It's 4 mana.
To play a 4 mana 3/8.
Like
the only thing I see it's bad is like you curve in a Doomguard, but you discard your Doomguard, and you're just like, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah, but then you draw your Doomguard from the Malkazar Zimp.
I mean, like this wins against Pirate Warrior, but everything else it's not great against.
I mean, it's a 4 mana 3/8. I don't see where it's. I mean, I guess against like control is not the best card.
Yeah, you want to just get a bunch of small minions on board. You don't want to.
You play Shadow Word Pain and you cry.
Well, if you like I was saying, if you're thinking about running a mid-range Warlock deck rather than an aggro like an aggressive Zooish deck, I think this card becomes a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think it would be good because you don't have any more heals. Like,
right.
Warlock just loses all its heal.
That's where the taunt's good.
Okay. So, it's Moosey. What
do
you giving
sack packed it for the healing.
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, you give it a 3, guys. What are you giving it?
I give it maybe even a 5.
Okay.
Card's bonkers, I think.
Yeah, I think this card is very strong too. I think this is a 5 as well. And also, it's like a common, so like you're going to be able to see this like fairly often in a lot of your packs. So like this will very easily slot into your decks, even if you don't open a lot of packs. The next thing that pops up, like this card is also really, really good. This is Ravenous Pterodax. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion, and adapt twice. I think this is a 4 out of 5. I think this card is really good. Like already off the bat, like a 4-mana 4/4. I'm not
stats are okay.
Upset. The stats are okay. Like I'm not upset about playing a 4-mana 4/4. But the fact that
the adaptament,
the adaptament, like that's really good. Like I could sacrifice like even if I like I got rid of like a Voidwalker or like a I don't know a token from Possessed Villager.
Just a token.
Yeah. Like there are a lot of things that you can easily sacrifice to get this adapt twice. So I think it's a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think
it's a 5 out of 5. I don't see why Zoo wouldn't play this card.
Yeah.
Like it just replaces Dark Iron Dwarf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just strong. Like if you're running like an aggressive Zoo deck, this is great. But I think in like a mid-range slower Zoo deck, I mean slower with like the taunt and stuff like that, might not run this card. But if you're running like a low curve Zoo deck, you run this card. That's insane.
I think the only reason I don't give this a 5 is because we're losing a decent number of cards that like give us tokens to sacrifice. Like I think that the Imp Gang Boss is like the big thing. Like Imp Gang Boss like curves into this great because you can just make a token off the Imp Gang Boss and then immediately sacrifice it to the Pterodax. And I think that's the big thing. I think that's the only reason why it's not a 5 out of 5 for me. And just because like
that's a good point.
The quality of the cards that you have to sacrifice is pretty high. We're going to move on to the next card. This is a 5-mana 1/7 with taunt and has 3 attack during your opponent's turn. It's called Tar Lurker. What do you guys think?
Card is dank.
I think like Control Warlock is just dead, so this isn't gonna be
If Control Warlock is ever a thing again, then you run this card.
This card, if Control Warlock can exist, this card is great.
Yeah.
But it probably doesn't.
Yeah. So we're gonna give it 3 out of 5 across.
It has potential in the future, but not right now. It won't.
You wouldn't want to play Zoo because you want to be the one trading in Zoo, but this minion sucks for trading.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we're gonna move on. This is Corrupting Mist, and I think this is the same thing. I think this is really cool.
Exact same.
Yeah, so just 3s across. I think it's playable enough. I think it's good enough to be playable because corrupting every minion, like on turn 2, like your opponent might have like 3 or 4 minions, especially if it's like a warrior or a hunter deck where you're gonna have like nothing. You're gonna have like a Voidwalker or something. Like even at that point, like you lose nothing and your opponent loses like everything. So
not necessarily in like more aggressive Zoo decks, but like this definitely has a lot of value in future Warlock decks.
Yeah. So we're gonna give it 3 out of 5 because it's just good enough to be playable, but we don't know like if it's going to see play, like if there's going to be a control deck that's going to play it really well.
You just have to wait to see if like Handlock can actually come back.
All right.
Oh, okay. Here's something I'd like to add.
Okay. Corrupting Mist?
This season and last season, and this whole Control Warlock thing in general.
Mm-hmm.
This season and last season, I dabbled with Handlock. I actually don't think it's even that bad. Like I used it in opens a little bit. I used it on ladder a little bit. If Control Warlock, if Handlock can be like semi-viable, I think these cards will probably fit in it very well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just see this as just about as good as Demon Wrath because it handles everything just about the same turn as Demon Wrath does. Just like the turn before.
If you play it early. But it's also a good late game against like Jades.
Yep. So let's move on to the next card, and the next card is makes me a little upset because it's implosion but not implosion. So it's called Feeding Time. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Summon 3 Pterodaxes. I think this is like a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna
overcosted.
It could even be a 1. Like it's overcosted. It only deals 3 damage, and for 1 mana more, you can just kill it. And in the deck where you want it, like even in a Zoo deck where you could arguably play this, so you have like a little bit of removal and summon like 3 1/1s, you're getting 3 1/1s on turn 5. Like that's just okay.
Well, it is a bit of a board swing, but I mean, I agree with you. It's just pretty weak.
Like in comparison to like Doomguard that you could be playing on turn 5, like this is awful.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a 1 out of 5 for me.
It's just less good than any other card.
I would agree. 1 out of 5, maybe 2, probably 1.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 1.5.
Go for it.
All right. We're gonna scroll down, and this card I actually think is pretty cool.
I think this card's pretty sick.
Yeah, this
has potential.
Cruel Dinomancer. I'm gonna give this like a 2.5, maybe a 3.
I give this a 4, honestly.
Really? Okay. So you can give it a little bit of time to talk about that. I think it's a 2.5, like maybe a 3 at best, because, you know, for 6 mana, like this is a Death Rattle, not a Battle Cry, and I think that's pretty big.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
I thought it was a Battle Cry. Yeah,
no, it's not a Death Rattle. Yeah, it's a 2.5 from me, just because like the Death Rattle effect is good, but it's an understated minion that maybe you don't get the effect.
A little bit understated, yeah.
And then
6 out of 5/5 is not too
And then there's
bad.
also the situation where you just don't discard a minion the entire game.
That's like so unlikely though. If you're playing a discard deck, you're probably discarding some minions.
Yeah. All right.
It's definitely good in like a more mid-range discard Warlock.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
So what
we
do you guys...
just have to wait for that to actually show up.
Right.
Like when you think of Warlock right now, I mainly just think that it's going to be aggressive Zoo and that's it, which kind of makes this card not as good.
But these cards enable a mid-range Zoo deck. Like this card and the 4/8 make a mid-range Zoo deck.
I'm not sure.
And the quest. I think they all encourage a slower discard Warlock deck.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's just
Moosey, what do you think? What are you gonna give it?
I'll give it a 3 because it has potential. I mean, like if you just look at it, it's a good card, but you have to find the deck it fits in.
Okay. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it can be. Yeah, I'm taking with 4. I think it can be bonkers if it's in the right deck. If the deck is found, I'm gonna mess with this stuff. There's so many stuff I want to experiment.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So next up we have Blood Bloom, which is 2 mana. Your next spell this turn costs health instead of mana. I'm gonna give this card a 2. Like,
it's a 1.
Yeah,
it's
like
a 1.
2, like even a 1. Like I can't think of anything that I would want to cast from like on turn 2 for health instead of mana as a Warlock. Like if
Twisting Nether.
Yeah, Twisting Nether on turn 2. Pay 7 mana. Oh my god, got him.
That wouldn't be too bad actually, Karakazam.
Yeah, for like 5 health on turn.
Or that 5 cost spell actually would be pretty good with this, wouldn't it?
Like maybe, but like even then, like
but that's still not
you're
worth
spending
it,
5 health. Yeah. Like that's still pretty big. Like whatever you remove, like on turn 2 for that, like you're not healing that amount. Like
that's just not as good.
Yeah,
it's like a 1 or a 2 at best. So
I would
go ahead and
it's bad for the same reason Cho'Gall's bad. You just there's no spell you want to combo with.
Kazakus Potion?
Maybe, I don't know. Move on to the next purple, and this is another 1 for me. Like Battlecry, discover a spell and then deal damage to your hero equal to its cost. Like maybe. Like
so you play this and then you Blood Bloom that spell.
Yeah, like this is it's just like dealing
and then you kill yourself.
Yeah, so
exactly.
Warlock doesn't have a lot of good healing, and like you're just dealing damage to yourself in a meta that's like going to be fairly heavy aggro or just like Jake's. And so like you're dealing damage to yourself and with very little payoff, and then you're dying. So oops.
Yep.
So 1 out of 5 from all of us again. Now we're going to get rid to the best card. We're going to get to the best card of this whole thing. Clutch Mother Zavis. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever you discard this, it gets +2/+2 and you return it to your hand.
I mean, you're playing discard. You're just running this card.
So here's my thing. Okay, so if this card is discarded, it's technically a minion that you've discarded, right? Does that mean that the Dinomancer? Yeah.
It just gives you the 2/2, I think.
It just only gives you a 2/2.
But that's still fine, right?
It'd be a 6 mana 7/7. It's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but you can also get like the Silverware Golem.
Yeah,
like, that's also
you're not upset
like
getting it off of the 6 mana guy.
But yeah, this is easy 5 from all of us. This card is ridiculous. This always gives you a card.
Edwin.
Yeah, this always gives you a card to discard in your hand, which means it also synergizes super well with Malkazar's Imp, which is super dumb because you can have like this and a card that discards a card in your hand like Soulfire, and you go and Soulfire something, and you discard Zavis, and then you get Zavis back and you draw a card, and maybe you get it like a Succubus or something. You play the Succubus and you discard Zavis, and then you draw another card. Like the discard keeps going and going.
Does this deck ever run Sea Giants?
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think so. Maybe
because Sea Giant Zoo is not like horrible. And then it has synergy with that 6-drop. 5 mana, 5/5 summon it. 6 mana 5/5 Death Rattle summon an 8/8.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You You purposely discard the Sea Giant to get it off of...
Exactly.
Oh, man. Bonkers.